Today is the 26th of July. Comment below if you know the significance of that date. We've moved into some mountainous terrain, and we are going to test the Belgian FAL and the type of terrain in which Che fought. He fought in the mountains. He fought in the Sierra Maestra Mountains of Cuba. He fought in the mountains of Congo, and he fought in the Andes Mountains in Bolivia. And so what we're going to do is we're going to test the FAL in this type of terrain. And the first thing we're going to do is see how far away we can see a man-sized target in heavily forested mountainous terrain. I keep referring to this weapon as a Belgian FAL, which implies that it was made in Belgium by Fabrique Nationale. But in fact, my copy here is a Sturmgewehr 58. The Sturmgewehr 58 was the Austrian rifle that was licensed from Fabrique Nationale and made in Austria. However, this particular rifle was made in the United States because a company called DS Arms imported the factory from Austria so that they could manufacture Austrian Sturmgewehr 58s in the United States. So I hope that clears that up. Belgian design, Austrian rifle made in the United States. So my idea here is that I'm going to back off and then come back to the target and see how far away I can see it. So what I was going to do is use my laser rangefinder to estimate the distance to the target at the first point that I could see it. However, what ended up happening was when I hit my laser rangefinder, I was getting distances like 4 yards and 10 yards because there was so much brush in between me and the target that the laser rangefinder was just telling me the distance to the closest branch. So that brings me to a second point. Che probably liked battle rifles like the M1 Garand, the M14, and the FAL because they had a full power cartridge with a heavy 150 grain plus bullet that would go through jungle and hit branches without being deflected as much as intermediate cartridge like the 5.56 millimeter, which would have been brand new when he was alive, or even 7.62 by 39, which has a heavy bullet but less power behind it. Well, the laser rangefinder didn't work, but using my calibrated eyeball, I'd say that the maximum engagement distance in this type of terrain would be somewhere on the order of 50 to 75 meters. So I think what we'll do is engage some targets with this rifle at 100 meters and see what the accuracy is like. Now what we're going to do is shoot the FAL at 100 meters. First we're going to do prone supported to see how the group is at 100 meters. Then we're going to fire at a man-sized target from the prone unsupported, then from kneeling, and then from standing. And here are the results. And we had one miss from the standing position, but this one would have been instant incapacitation. In his book Guerrilla Warfare, Che refers to this weapon as the Belgian FAL. He recommends it along with the M1 Garand and the M14 and Mausers. I've come to believe that Mauser is how he referred to any bolt-action rifle. In his Congo diaries, he also refers to Mausers. He just refers to this weapon as the FAL. There are mentions of the SKS, which was a Soviet carbine in 7.62 by 39 millimeter. And there's one mention, not by Che, but by another guerrilla, of the AK, and that was in talking about the ammunition resupply. So I don't think that Che had AKs in the Belgian Congo, but his guerrillas did appear to have SKSs and Mausers, which I believe is what he just called bolt-action rifles as a generic term. In summary, there's a lot of reasons why Che Guevara selected the FAL rifle, and this was the weapon that his guerrillas were armed with when he fought in the Belgian Congo in the mid-1960s. First of all, it's a Belgian rifle that he could acquire from his enemy and other sources. He could acquire the ammunition from his enemy, which was always a concern for guerrillas that had difficulty with resupply. It fired a full power 7.62 NATO cartridge that could punch right through the jungle. The only drawback to this weapon was accuracy. It has a ghost ring sight, which is great for rapidly acquiring targets in the jungle, but not necessarily accurate at range. But at short range, Che wouldn't need that kind of accuracy. So I think the FAL is and was what Che would do.